what a happening. All right, here we go. Here we go to CryptoZombies, where we bring you today. And beyond. Coming live here. And it's, we got a little bit of feedback. Technical challenges. All right, everyone. Us. We're professional. And we're back. And we're back. Not back. Look, Chris, you confused?
Oh, that's interesting. So when Chris's mic is on, that's when it's doing that.
Chris, mute yourself, bro.
No, that's all right.
Is he good?
Kind of looks like Chris is in the backyard right now.
Chris, can you hear us, bro? Chris, we can't hear him.
I'm trying to unmute him.
It's okay. It's not like we're live.
Yeah, it's not like we're live. It's not a big deal.
Chris, you working out, bro? Is Chris working out?
Oh, you know I can do it.
Hold on.
Unmute yourself, Chris.
Chris, unmute yourself.
In the meantime, please enjoy.
Let the music wash over you.
The gentle, beautiful tunes.
Do you want to bring in Debbie?
8-time Grammy award-winning artist.
I do want to bring in Debbie, but I want to talk to Chris first.
Oh, there's Chris. Hey, Chris.
Chris, can you hear us? And we're echoing.
It's only when Chris is on. How about Debbie? Let's add Debbie. Let's see how this goes. Hey, Debbie.
Hey, Debbie.
Debbie.
How's it going?
She sounds great.
All right.
I'm working great. I'm not the problem.
Fantastic.
Well, I wanted to start off by wishing Chris a happy birthday.
Woo-hoo. Happy birthday, Chris.
Happy birthday. He's 55.
Yeah, he can hear it.
Okay. How about we all say one good thing about Chris? Chris, I want to begin by saying thank you for letting us use your home for this podcast. Thank you for your incredible generosity. And thank you for being the greatest NBA owner in the history of the NBA.
Of all time.
Yeah.
Of all time.
I'll say, Chris, think super dapper. He's got this style for days.
All right, Bryn,
I'd like
up.
to say that although you're a badass NBA owner and a super wealthy guy with a badass house that we're in, you're one of the most humble and kind people that I've met, with a lot of humility.
Yeah.
So thank you for being you.
It's
Sharp
rare.
as
You're
tack.
amazing.
It's rare with rich people.
Sharp as
Let
attack.
Taylor say something.
Yeah,
nice
all right.
about
Taylor,
Taylor is the assistant today.
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Yeah, this is my debut. Happy birthday, Chris. You mean the world to me. You're a great boss, but also a great person. Love you, man.
Beautiful.
Oh, that's great.
All right, Debbie, do you want to say something?
First of all, I mean, he's not here, but Chris is amazing, and I feel like I always have the best experiences with Chris. So you're never in for a dull time. So I hope he keeps all of that coming.
Awesome. Hey, Nick, do you want to plug any sponsors before we launch into this thing?
Well, Stone AI. Thank you for asking, Human. Stone AI, of course, with David Layton. They're doing incredible work, and our friends at Necodex. That's NECODEX.com. You want to share a little bit about what David's up to? David Layton and gang.
Yeah, David, if you go to Stone AI and just do sort of a search, they will help you with, special effects at a really reduced cost. If you're in the film production space, normally we plug David when he gets us the guest, and he didn't get us this guest. So
we like David.
I'll cut that out. I'll delete that in post.
All right. Well, let's get to our guest, the one and only Debbie Soon. Welcome, Debbie. Thank you for being here. Could you give us a little? Wait, are those tattoos on your arm?
Yeah, no, and they're real, not like stick on.
Not augmented reality.
Yeah. How many tattoos you got?
I keep forgetting. I think I'm at like 12 or 13, but some of them are like really tiny, so they probably don't count. But yeah.
Show us the arm that you put up first. Show us those.
This one. Well, this is my favorite one. So
Let's see your favorite one.
do this one. That's like a kind of a colored one. It's up like a LA sunset. Looks better in person. It's hot too.
Okay.
See, but yeah, that one's cool.
Did your mom and dad cry when you did that, or what was their
Yeah,
reaction?
they definitely cried when I got the first one, and I think, but the first one was like, I don't know, nearly 20 years ago, and so I think they've given up by now.
So definitely before you were a CrossFit superstar. Is that right?
I'm not a CrossFit superstar, but yes, well before that.
Is it just me, or is anyone else detecting an accent? Does Debbie have an accent?
It's faint. It's faint.
Debbie, where are you from?
I am from Singapore, born and raised.
Oh, Singapore. Love those guys.
All right, Debbie, give us a little bit of your background. I have your bio, but I'd rather hear it from you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, Singapore born and raised, basically lived and worked there like my entire life other than college. And then I moved back to the US, I guess 4.5 years ago during the pandemic. And that was somehow how I got really into crypto, somehow met Chris, and then founded a company with Randy Zuckerberg, and then sold that company, and then wrote a book, somehow still in crypto, still surviving. So yeah, my dog, if you can see in the background, she's actually been with me all the way from Singapore. So she's been for every single part of the ride.
Wow, how cool.
We're going to hear your whole story, but I just want to start with this. Are you at a place where you still need to work, or are you loaded?
I am, unfortunately. I wish I could say I was loaded.
a little
You know what my dream is? My dream is starting a business where I don't have to care about making money, and I just want to make a business that loses money. That's my dream. So
how do we invest in that?
yeah. Oh, by the way, it's also a great business idea. It's a sports bar with a dumpling and craft beer pairing, which I think is a great idea.
I'm all in,
Can't promise that it will make any money.
Debbie, you started in traditional finance, then sports media. What was the tipping point that convinced you blockchain was where you needed to be? What was that moment?
Oh gosh, I mean, I think I was drawn. So when I left traditional finance and moved into sports, I was kind of drawn by the whole startup aspect about it. And then I left live sports in the middle of the pandemic for obvious reasons. It was just, there was nothing much going on at that time. And then I think when I discovered crypto, I felt like the entire industry was a startup, and that to me was really exciting. And I just felt like, oh, I actually have an opportunity to shape this industry in a way that I couldn't other industries, right? Traditional finance has been around for forever. Sports media has been around for forever. And I just felt like this was a little bit of a blank slate. And it was also really fun meeting random people that I would have never crossed paths with otherwise.
So you just picked blockchain because
Throw darts at the board.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like there was a tipping point moment.
Well, she has an awesome background in supporting creators, so maybe that was like a important foundation. Tell us a little bit about that, Debbie, if you would.
Yeah, no, okay. Also the tipping point was moving to the US in the middle of the pandemic, and then realizing it was still in the middle of lockdowns. And, I kind of came like, fresh-eyed, bushy-tailed. I was like, oh my gosh, like new chapter in America. This is going to be great. I landed in LA, and I was like, wow, I don't actually know anyone here, and I have no way of meeting anyone. And so I just, like any other human being, ended up spending way too much time on the internet. And that was probably how I started getting to connect with other people in internet communities. And I was like, wow, these are a whole bunch of crazy people that are really into trying, new and crazy shit. And people are making cool stuff, really creative. I've always had a creative streak in me. So yeah, that was what kind of drew me in.
We're gonna have to click that box that says not made for kids on YouTube.
Is Chris back?
Yeah, let's give it a try. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Hey, birthday boy.
I think it's working now. So hey, how you doing? What's going on? I'm coming to you from the SALT conference, the crypto conference in Wyoming. And happy to be an on-scene reporter, but most happy to have my good friend Debbie Soon on our podcast. So
cool.
Hey, Chris, are you enjoying that conference? Is a lot of cool
It's been fantastic. Great presentations from SEC Chair Paul Atkins this morning. Tim Scott was the senator from South Carolina, was a little partisan in some of his comments, but that's the way it goes sometimes in the space. There's some good bipartisan support for crypto here, which is fantastic.
That's great. Chris, try to rally some famous people for us. We're really enjoying Debbie. I will say this. Debbie seems wild. She seems wild and fun. All right, Debbie. So let's get back to you here. When you were profiling Web3 people, who was the most underrated Web3 pioneer you profiled, and what did you learn from them?
Oh, most underrated. Underrated is hard. I mean, I think like one of the artists that I profiled, his name is Food Masku. Aside from being like an incredible multimedia artist, he's also a survivor of gun violence. So, I learned a lot from that conversation, and it was, very touching and moving and just all sorts of crazy. And I think also the way that he kind of continues to give back, not through his art, but he also teaches at Queen's College. He's a huge advocate against gun violence. So yeah, that's still one of the stories where I felt it was so multifaceted that sure, there was definitely a moment where we talk about what brought him into crypto and what was that light bulb moment for him. But there was a lot that he went through in his life that I felt kind of, really painted that complete picture.
Debbie, this is a crypto podcast, so we want to hear about you, what you're investing in, the coins that you like, why you're choosing that.
What's your hot take on regulation?
Yeah,
regulation.
The juicy stuff.
yeah, let's hear.
I think
Chris, tell us if you agree with anything she says. All right, go ahead.
regulations moving in a positive direction, I would say, better than we were a year ago. I think a lot of people
What's
are.
the guy? What's the
Are you gonna
guy?
ask about Gary Gensler?
What do you want to say about Gary
I think we're
Gensler,
talking about
bro?
Gary.
Hey, Debbie, what do you want to say about Gary Gensler?
I don't know. I might have a sticker. I feel like at one of the crypto conferences, somebody gave me a whole bunch of Gary Gensler stickers, like as out of irony, and I don't know where I have it.
Is there such a thing as a Gensler coin? There should be like
there probably is. There's a coin for anything and everything now. So
Yeah.
I have a Debbie coin. I have a Debbie token too.
wow.
I did
Tell us
not
about
know
the
that you
loan.
had a Debbie token. There we go.
Yeah.
Tell us about your token. Why should people invest?
Oh, please, no financial advice. No, I always say like I launch a token because I mean I like trying out new things, right? So Rainbow, like the one of the wallet apps, they were like, oh, you can launch your token with a click of a button. So I did it. And then I love showing people the chart, even though I say no financial advice. And I got to check the latest, but I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm up over 80% year to date. I've outperformed Bitcoin. I've outperformed the S&P 500. So, like, who knows? Creator tokens might be the next thing.
What was
I actually do think creator tokens are going to do something serious, and there's going to be a variety of ways that people express themselves through the tokens that they purchase, just like they buy baseball cards or basketball cards or whatever. I mean, all these collectibles are going to be on chain. There's no question about
Chris,
that.
are you going to buy a Debbie coin? Yes or
Look,
no?
I'm up
I
like
think-
over 100%.
I think I'm going to
to
have to go buy some Debbie coin, right?
Oh, wow. So when someone buys a coin, how much do you get of that? How does that work?
I honestly, I have no idea. Some of these mechanics are so complicated, and I don't know if you guys follow Zora. Zora is like a creator. It's like an Instagram-like app, but every post that you make has its own market, which is in turn paired with your own creator token, which is in turn paired with the Zora token. So that one's really complicated, but somehow the balances kind of go up. Like not my own personal coin, but like some of the other things that happens. There is some kind of flywheel going. It seems to be working. But as it is in a lot of these things in crypto, like you never know how long the hype is going to sustain for. So,
Right.
But we should see. But I love Zora, love the team. Zora is a big Privy customer. And so we're excited to see what they keep shipping.
So we want to dive into Privy and how you're leading marketing there, but just real quickly on the coin itself, is there any kind of unique utility, or what do folks get when they invest in Debbie coin?
No, so I think so my favorite thing I will always say now about crypto is that it's permissionless, right? So, anyone can build something on top of anything. And so there've been these great guys that have built an app called Noise. So it's like nice, but spelled like NOICE. And essentially how it works is that anytime somebody interacts with my posts on social media, on Twitter or on Podcaster, they get tip a small allocation of like Debbie token, right? Like 500 Debbie token for a like, 1,000 for a comment. And so I am basically building up slowly but surely building up my economy of people that hold Debbie tokens without necessarily having to need them to actively buy it. So there's no utility as of yet, but it's interesting that I'm able to be very intentional about building at least a community or a following, however you want to define it, based on the people who my content resonates with. So again, I don't have like a fully painted out vision of what that is, but I think that the more that I'm creating content, the more that people are interacting, the more that there is an opportunity for me to build some kind of flywheel around that. So I don't know, watch this space.
Oh, that's fascinating. Because I feel like you're ahead of the curve in that capacity. Because in the future, I think as we shift away from larger brands, personal influencers are going to carry more weight because people trust people as opposed to like a faceless logo or something like that. In fact, my friend Hassam, Hassam, he built a company called Buzzable, which is event management. And they're in the process of rewarding folks who attend an event and then maybe take a picture and tag on their socials and can get paid for it. So I love this idea of rewarding people for engaging in cool social events anyways, because they're going to do it. Why not get paid for it?
Yeah. Well, and I think also like maybe I'm a little bit more on the fence of like people trading my token and trading and like speculating in my value. But I think the one concept that I feel very comfortable with is tipping, because we already see that in like TikTok live streams. We already see that in Patreon. So I think like tipping kind of goes both ways. Like people could be tipping me for my content, but I'm also tipping back my people who are fans of mine. So I feel like I like that framework in terms of supporting creators a little bit more than the speculating on like what a creator's like future value is going to be. I think that one I'm still wrestling a little bit with. But I think having my own token allows me to experiment with some of these new tipping models that have emerged.
Chris I don't know if you're allowed to talk about this. There's so many things Chris is not allowed to talk about, but athlete coin. Do you want to tell?
Yeah, so I'm happy to share more about that. So Athlete Coin is a project that I'm invested in that we're actually looking at allowing athletes to sell their own coins, and they get a significant cut of the proceeds. It's limited and it's run on a network that's highly controlled in terms of the transactions and the way that they can run. Eventually, it'll roll up into an exchangeable coin with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and with stable coins. But for now, it's collectible only. It's another meme coin, and we're very much following the path that the Trump and Melania meme coins have followed.
Quick question about that. How does that blend into like sports betting, or for like if you think that Steph's gonna get 40 points in a game, could that have like some downward positive impact on the valuation?
Eventually there might be some interaction with that. These are meant to be collectibles, and I think that their value will go up as there's interest if the entire collection sells out. So if you start with a supply of 1 million coins, they step up in price with each additional one purchased. When you reach the 1 million limit, then the price is freely trading. So it goes up. So this is in testing right now, and we expect that it'll launch in the fall.
So Chris mentioned the Trump coin, and I'm always curious to know this is not Bryn, this is me. Bryn, what is happening with the Trump coin? How's it doing?
Let me share my screen. Super enthusiastic about the Trump coin.
I love the Trump coin. I love the Melania coin. I can't even believe that.
All right. So if you look at it over the long term, I mean, if we're looking at a 1-year chart here, it started off it peaked at $45. Right now it's at $8.06, $8.60 right now.
That's a Trump coin, huh?
Yeah, that's a Trump coin.
It's kind of ironic. He was the 45th president. Coincidence? I don't know.
All right, should we get back to our guest, Debbie? Debbie, I have so many like personal questions for you, but I feel like we got to make this professional, right?
Let them loose. Have fun, Human.
Debbie, like, what do you do for fun? You seem like someone who likes to travel and surf and party. Like, where's your next international trip to? What party did you just come from? Give us a flavor of your I don't know, your awesomeness of your life, the adventure of your life?
Well, my last party was with Chris in Vegas at
It's
the
true. It's true.
Chainsmokers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think Chris is way cooler than me, to be honest.
No, 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 no,
I
no.
I've got to the point where like I love a good party, but can a party be in the daytime? I am now officially like a big fan of like day raves. You know, they have these things that let's start party at 11 a.m. with like coffee and like THC drinks, and I'm like, that's my kind of vibe now. Like, and then I can go to bed at a reasonable hour. So that's now my party flavor. But yeah, I love to travel.
That's the opposite of Chris, man. Chris
Well,
goes
no,
all
Chris
night.
went. I would.
no,
I
this
would
was
spit it
this
at
was
9. Chris
I
went out
favored this
after.
one too, and this was the Chainsmokers' Encore Beach Club. So it was a 1:30 pre-party. You know, they went on about 3:15. After we wandered over there, you know, do the afternoon, and then you have a free evening. Although that evening was the Backstreet Boys at the Sphere, where we did some other, you know, interesting conversations with the folks, and you know, I may have some more news stemming from that in future
You want to break it right
podcasts.
now? You want to break it right now?
No, there's nothing to break right now, but we've got some interesting conversations going on right now that I may have more to report on next week.
Let's get back to awesome. Let's get back to Debbie. All right, Debbie, where's your next trip? Where's your next party?
Been
You work-
bouncing
you work.
back and forth from New York and Miami a lot, but I think Nick's most exciting travel would be to Rio. Unfortunately for work, but I've never been to Brazil, so I'm going to Brazil in the middle of September. So I'm excited for that. And I don't know what I'm organizing a tailgate at the end of September in New York. I'm a big football fan. So I need to start prepping for my fantasy draft. So I think that's what I'm going to be busy with for the next couple of weeks.
I didn't see that one coming.
Are the Chargers coming to play the Jets?
The Chargers coming to play the Giants. So I'm doing a
The
whole
Giants. Okay,
tailgate.
great. Okay,
Yeah, it's
fantastic.
gonna be fun.
Are we
Well, I thought
invited?
I thought it would be an AFC battle, but that's fantastic.
Are we invited?
Are you guys coming to New York? And can Chris put us in touch with the Spanos family? That's the biggest.
That's easy. That's an easy conversation. So
Okay, so Nick brought up a really good question. You're the head of marketing at Privy, which Stripe acquired. What does that mean for crypto wallets? What exactly is your day-to-day like? Give us a little bit of sort of context of what you do and what your day's like.
Yeah, I mean, Privy is a small team, but growing fast. I think when I joined just about like 3 months ago, I was the founding marketing hire, still the only marketing hire. So one woman team over there. But we're now at 40 in a really short amount of time. But yeah, I think for those who don't know Privy, essentially we provide embedded wallet infrastructure that makes it easy for anyone to build apps on crypto rails. So I always like to describe it as you have balances in your Uber app, you have balances in DoorDash or in Amazon. Now imagine if all the balances there were on crypto and technically they were interoperable, you could use your Amazon balances to pay for your DoorDash and vice versa. You know, so we're building a lot of the infrastructure to make all of that possible. Believe that wallets and all of that is also a huge part of someone's like on-chain and digital identity. So, you know, the mission has like always been the same, really making it easy for people to come on chain, to build on chain. I think being part of Stripe obviously just gives us access to greater resources. You know, I think, like I said, I probably wouldn't be surviving as a one-person marketing team if I also didn't have some great Stripe collaborators to work with. And definitely need to continue growing my team here on my side. But yeah, my day-to-day is what you would imagine a full stack marketer to do. So anything from content, I do a lot of writing. I do a lot of work with my sales team in terms of sales enablements. I try and plan cool events, since apparently that's how we market to enterprises these days. But yeah, so I got a little taste of everything, and it's been a fun ride.
All right, let's get back to you personally. Will you tell us like what coins you're invested in, like what you're doing in the world of crypto personally?
Yeah, so the funny story is that probably the first coin I ever invested in was XRP, which this was before the SEC lawsuit. So then I also had a massive panic attack after the SEC lawsuit. And then I don't know. I think by that point I was like, well, it's already gone down so much. I'm just going to erase this from my memory and just let it sit there. And obviously in the past year, I'm like, well, I'm kind of glad I let that happen. So it took like a while. It took like 5-6 years, but feeling good about that XRP holding. And then I would say I've been pretty, I mean, I'm like a measured risk-taking person, right? So like I have the majors like the Bitcoin and the Ethereum and Solana. And then I try and dabble in a little bit of like some of these new coins around like RWAs, like real world assets. Half the time I'm not entirely sure like what some of these folks are doing. I probably should. But yeah, like I don't really trade in and out very often. I think I've realized that whenever I try and do that, it just creates way too much stress, or like I would have missed the boat, or I get sad that I sold too early. So, I think I'm at this point where I'm just riding the wave, like, and, holding on to, high conviction plays like Bitcoin. So yeah, unfortunately, pretty boring.
Diamond hands.
Yeah.
This is good stuff. When you say RWA, like real world assets, does that mean like it's backed by gold, or it kind of sounds like a stable coin? Is it similar to that?
No, I mean there are like protocols that are basically for real world assets. So like what is a good example? Yeah, like so I think what is it, like Injective, I think that I'm into, or Ondo. But yeah, like I guess like a couple of like blockchains that are specifically built for the tokenization of real world assets. And I know I have like people on my team who definitely trade a lot more more exciting stuff like on Hyperliquid. Like I have like I should probably buy some Hyperliquid, actually, some hype. But yeah, definitely a lot of people that are really excited about Hyperliquid and being able to trade all sorts of leverage assets on that. We're seeing securities come be tokenized and be able to trade it on chain. So yeah, there's a lot more happening in that department that I think we're excited to support. I think personally, I haven't done enough research to put my own personal capital in there, but but maybe soon, maybe soon.
Did you want to say something, Nick? Because if not, I got a good question for you.
Go for it, all you.
So when your friends, because I have a feeling you have a very diverse group of friends, Debbie. I have a feeling that they're all from all different gamuts, and they come to you and they say, I don't understand anything from the crypto world. I want to understand and learn. Where do you point them?
I point out to my book that I've written, and even then they still would read it.
You don't point them to Debbie Coin?
I thought you would like say, here, watch this YouTube video.
Or Silicon Zombie.
Watch the book on zombies.
Tell us about the process of writing the book. What was that like?
Yeah, and tell us why they should read your book to understand crypto.
I mean, I wrote my book specifically to make it really easy to understand crypto. That I almost had to put a disclaimer in front saying that this might not be. This is definitely not the most technical explanation of blockchain in general. And it might even be called like it's maybe like 98.5% accurate, but for the sake of simplicity, like I'm going to write it in a way that the average person is going to understand. And I knew that I did it right because my mom, who is over 70, like read the book and she said, "Hey, I actually understand it," and it was like really accessible.
Gotta like that. That's
yeah. So I was like, "That's
what some of the metaphors you used. Was it like like let's say you're running a lemonade stand, or how did you do the storytelling to make it accessible?"
So I started with the history of paper, actually. So I said before paper, people used to write on bark and wood. And obviously that wasn't a great way of like recording things down. And then we eventually moved to paper, and paper was great for a while until it wasn't. And then into kind of storing things on your hard disk drive, and then eventually to cloud storage. And then eventually to decentralize, computing, and so that was kind of the analogy that I took. And I think I spent some time talking about NFTs, and I essentially described them as magical pieces of paper that could be transferred or could be sent across, and on the paper. And I think the reason why I use the paper as an analogy is because paper, and specifically in the context of NFTs, was that you could technically write anything on a piece of paper. A paper, your dollar bill is a piece of paper, so that could be money. It could be a sketch or a drawing that is also on paper. So technically the paper can contain anything, but I can easily transfer it back and forth and you would know that it's mine or it's yours or what have you. So that was my very simple, like explain like I'm 5 analogy when I was talking about all of that.
Yeah, I love that.
good.
Can we ask Debbie another personal question?
Who you asking that question to?
You guys, we're voting. We're gonna vote. Should we ask Debbie another
This is
personal
not a
question?
distributed autonomous organization. Just ask. Come on now.
So you want to get married one day? You want to have kids? What's going on there?
No real desire to get married. No real desire to have kids. I have a dog. That's a lot of work. I mean, I guess I'll say never, but the answer for now is no. And I've always been very outspoken about the fact because people be like, oh, why don't you freeze your eggs? Blah blah blah. And I was like, well, in the unlikely event that I change my mind, I have no issue with adopting. So that's my answer to that.
Well, that's fascinating. Chris.
Yes.
When you think about Debbie, what sort of brought you guys together? How did you guys sort of connect, and what about like her
we worked
mind?
together? We worked together on her last startup where she was the co-CEO with Randy Zuckerberg, and we sold that off to our shortly. And Debbie was an excellent executive, and I knew that she would land quite well, and she has at Privy.
Oh, that's great. All right, Debbie, fast forward 10 years. When people look back at this moment in Web3, what do you hope your legacy will be?
Debbie token.
I mean, that would be awesome. Oh gosh, that is such a hard question to answer, honestly, because I think I overthink. Actually, back to the question about like wanting to have kids or not. I think because
Let's talk
no, but because like I don't like want to have kids, I think I always think about like what is my legacy going to be? Because I think for a lot of people when they have kids, their kids are their legacy, right? Like you kind of instill all of these values onto that. But I don't know. I think I just want to have looked back and be like, hey, that really cool thing that everyone is using now. Like, hey, I worked on that. So if 10 years from now, if every single person has a Privy wallet, I'll feel pretty stoked about that.
If you had $1 million to fund one project in Web3 today that could actually change the world, where would you put that $1 million?
Oh man.
Oh,
Not financial advice, guys.
gosh, change the world too. That's so tough.
Chris, you have an answer for that?
I mean, I think that foundational crypto is a great investment still, but I think that the creatives should be pursuing their own goals and sort of making things on their own, investing in themselves. So sure, Debbie Coin, I'm sure Debbie Coin is a great investment.
So hey, Debbie, if we started a CryptoZombies coin, what advice would you have for us so that we can launch our coin properly?
Oh gosh, I'm the worst person to ask about like launching a coin and making it successful. But I mean, I guess you should. I mean, zombies are pretty good like meme to build something around. So I feel like you could get a lot of zombie fans, like do like a little Halloween launch. But yeah.
Let's do that. A big party.
By the way, I do have an answer for that. Like I always I talked about like my wanting to open a bar idea. Like I've always wanted the checkout for that. Well, first of all, I wanted it to be community funded with crypto. And the idea was that if the bar broke even, people who contributed to funding the bar will be able to get back their returns programmatically and they'll be able to earn yield off DeFi protocols or whatever money is sitting idle. But I also think what would be really cool is from a point of sale standpoint, if people could come to the bar and pay with whatever shit coins that they had, and there was a way to instantly settle the conversion of the meme coin or the regular coin into a stable coin.
A stable coin. Okay.
Yeah. And so you would have no risk. Like the bar would still be able to run, pay its expenses, but people would come in and essentially have like actually be able to give utility to these random coins that they've collected. And obviously it's like they will lose a little bit of leakage here and there depending on liquidity pools. But I think one of the biggest like challenges that we still have today is around like off ramping. Like I think once you're within the crypto ecosystem, there's a lot that you could do with it. But how do we take that and like really spend it in real life? And I don't know if that's like $1 million. I feel like $1 million will be able to solve that in some way.
kind of a similar dynamic between choosing which model is correct to use, like a quarterback of sorts. Speaking of which, when we're thinking about like on-chain identity and AI agents that are reshaping the future of work, how are you seeing this play out in the next 6, 12, 18 months?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody is like super bullish on like agentic commerce. I'm definitely very bullish on AI. Like I collaborate with it every day for my work. I even vibe coded my dog to be an AI agent, and I got a little bit tired of like working on that project, but it was actually cool to see what you could do. Like she would post online, people would talk to her, and then she would distribute tips in USDC unprompted with like a $5 spending limit per day, basically. And
What's your dog's name?
A Guinness, yeah. So it was meant to be like an emotional
Guinness
support. Guinness.
Well, hold on,
Yeah.
Debbie
Yeah.
sounds thirsty. You thirsty, Debbie? You drinking?
Yeah.
You drinking
See?
the Guinness?
Yeah, so many ideas. But yeah, I'm bullish on it. And I mean, like then you give an agent a wallet that they can transact from, and all of a sudden they're participating members of the economy. Like I think we're seeing a lot of that happen on the trading front too. So it'll be cool to see what else could come from that.
Well, let's end with this question here. From Singapore to Miami to New York, how has geography influenced your perspective on crypto adoption and regulation? Is there a lot of difference from these three different places? The people, are they all similar? Like, give us your sort of geographical perspective.
Yeah, I would say so. First of all, coming from Singapore, I think the big problem that stable coins or crypto payments aim to solve in terms of like low cost, fast settlement, it's actually not something that Singaporeans have to deal with. We have great banking and financial rails, so much so that if I'm transferring money to anybody, it is pretty much instant. I can send money overseas from Singapore to the US for free. I don't know, probably the bank underwrites that, but I have never had any issue transferring money from Singapore elsewhere. The same cannot be said transferring money from US back to Singapore. So I would say that as growing up around like friends who are still there, like I think that whole value prop of like, oh my gosh, like stable coins make so much sense. I feel like that definitely resonates less. Like we've just been very blessed to have had an efficient financial rails right from the very beginning. And then I think kind of Miami and New York. I mean, they're both in the US. Obviously, in Miami, you get a lot of people that have just relocated to the States from nearby Spanish-speaking countries. So I think definitely remittances for sure is a key kind of use case. Obviously, much more crypto friendly. There are still laws in the state of New York that I still don't understand, but I do know that I scan my eyeball with the WorldCoin app, and I keep missing my monthly claims because I happen to be in New York, and so I can't open the app. So I'm like kind of pissed because I scanned my eyeball in Singapore, then they had a launch thing in Miami, and it was great. I just claim all these new WorldCoin, and I have missed probably like the 2 out of the last 3 because I happen to be in New York. That needs to be, I think that needs to be a little bit more like happening on a New York front on a regulation standpoint. But at the same time, there are a lot of people building on crypto in New York. So there's a lot of great companies, a lot of great like talent. And yeah, it always feels like there's something happening in New York around crypto.
Hey, Chris, you agree with everything she said or you disagree?
Oh, no, I disagree. I agree with almost all of it. I think that there's some just incredible, creativity going on around the world, and that we should be embracing all of it right now, building it on chain.
Well, Debbie, this has been an incredible conversation.
It's just a delight. And go out and buy Digital Mavericks, the book. So thank you for that.
Yeah, exactly. No, we definitely want to plug Debbie's book.
Do you have an audio version of your book, Debbie?
Yeah, there's an audio version, there's a Kindle version. So there you go.
Oh, I'm gonna buy it.
Nice.
What about Debbie coin? You're gonna invest in some Debbie
I
coin?
was thinking of buying $10 Bitcoin.
Yeah, do it. I'll shed a CA.
Gonna get
awesome.
do you $10?
Well, you should do like Trump. Like the top 200 holders of Debbie coin should have dinner with you every every 6 months.
Debbie.
Yeah.
I don't know
Debbie.
if my market cap is like large enough to support feeding like
Debbie,
20 people.
Yeah. Fair,
Debbie,
fair enough. Fair
Are we
enough.
going on a date? Is that what I'm hearing? You want to go on a date?
You gotta get
Is
a
that what
lot
I
of
just-
Debbie coin for that.
Is that
bro.
what Chris just said? Me and Debbie should go out. All right, Nick.
All right,
wrap
we're
us-
gonna wrap
That
before
was
before
awkward
Homan
silence.
embarrasses you too much here. But Debbie, thank you so much for joining.
Thanks,
Great to
Debbie.
see you,
It's
Chris. Thank you,
fantastic.
Homan. Another beautiful episode of Crypto Zombies. Be sure to check out more online. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you again.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Don't hang up, Debbie.